Welcome to a collective reading. We're going to be focusing on a mystery topic. I'm going to roll the astro dice, and then we're going to dig into the tarot to get some collective insight. It has been a rough Mercury retrograde. Mercury is stationing direct on September 15th. We have a new moon in Virgo the day before on September 14th. So this is a pretty big week astrologically, and I think a lot of people have been going through it. So we'll see what comes out of this reading. I am feeling a bit more hopeful as I tune in, but let's see what the dice and the cards have to say. So we have the moon, the 12th house, and Gemini. This is kind of a consistent theme that's coming up. Maybe a need to be praying more often, a need to be meditating more often, or finding seclusion, silence. There's a need for restoration, and especially for the mind and for the body. And you might hear barking today. I'm sorry, I can't really avoid it. But there's a real need to quiet the mind and to care for the mind. And in doing so, to also, in turn, provide care for the body. Our mind is part of our body. Sometimes we think of it as like a separate entity, but it's within us. And so yes, there is like the physical body and the mental body, but I'm getting the sense that any mental anxiety that you're experiencing is also correlating with physical anxiety. There's a sort of like breathlessness that I've been feeling as I tune in this week, and that may be something you're experiencing. Maybe some of you are actually having upper respiratory issues, and it would be a good idea to focus on that. Care for yourself, to maybe find silence and try to speak less as a way to care for your lungs, your throat, etc. I feel like some of you may actually be sick, so I hope you get the time that you need to recover. But I'm feeling like a dimming of the lights. I'm feeling a need to, again, be more secluded and more inward. The 12th house can bring us into connection with the divine, but we have to kind of turn off the noise of the world as best we can in order to find that connection and to hear it. Let's get a little bit more insight from the tarot. So what is going on that we need to be aware of right now? All right, so 3 reversals. We have the 5 of Cups in reverse. Let's see if we can get that focused. There. We have the 2 of Pentacles also reversed, and the 4 of Swords also reversed. So this is kind of reiterating to me that we're coming off of a difficult time. And I think a lot of us had to let something or someone go. And there's probably a recent loss that we experienced that we're maybe having trouble kind of feeling the emotions. The 5 of Cups, when it's upright, is a period of grief and loss and disappointment often. Sometimes the way that I read the 5 of Cups reversed is that we're like not allowing ourselves to feel the grief. It can mean that we're moving on, that we've sort of felt it and it's time to move on. And so that may apply for some of you, but for many of you, I feel like you haven't quite felt the feelings that are there yet. It's been focused on the mind, focused on thinking your way through it. And then with the 2 of Pentacles in reverse, it feels like there's a sort of recovery of balance that's either in progress or is needed. Sometimes our priorities with the 2 of Pentacles in reverse are getting out of hand, and we really need to set something down because we're moving into a place of deeper imbalance than we can sustain. And so I think for a lot of you, again, retreat is really needed. Setting down of obligations that you're able to set down. Maybe it means delegating responsibilities or asking for some help this week could be really important for you. And that could be divine help too. If you don't have as much practical support in the 3D, definitely call in your spiritual helpers, call in your guides, call in your loving, wise ancestors, call in the good spirits that support you. And they may deliver even little miracles, like someone offering a helping hand when you need it. And with the 4 of Swords in reverse, again, there's a real need for rest. There's a real need for you to take the time that you can to cut away, to find more silence, and to find some type of retreat. And I know that's, again, like not totally practical for everyone. People have children, they have obligations, we have work, and all of this stuff. But even if it's taking time, like when you go to the bathroom, not bringing your phone with you, taking it as a moment of respite to sort of just be with yourself. If it's in between tasks, taking a deep breath before you move on to something else instead of just throwing yourself into the next to do. And if you have to walk the dog, use that time to be in silence and to breathe. It's, that was well timed. Hey, enough. It's in those little transitional moments between tasks that we can find some degree of peace and sort of like restabilize ourselves when we need it often. And I feel like that could be really helpful for those of you who can't like sit down for a full-on meditation, or who can't, take a night off. It's going to be finding those moments between tasks, the moments of transition. Okay, let's get more information. These cards really don't want to go back in, so let's look at them. We have the Page of Wands in reverse, the 3 of Cups upright, and the 10 of Cups upright. So I feel like you have 4 cards in reverse, and then they're leading up to 2 really beautiful cards that are both upright and both cups. And so starting with the Page of Wands in reverse, I get the sense that for some of you, this is maybe the person that you recently lost, or someone you had to let go of. This could also be like a part of yourself that you're sort of grieving. Hey, enough. That's too much, baby. That's too much. She's just a baby. Hey, enough. So with the Page of Wands in reverse, this is often a youthful figure, but someone who maybe was a little bit reckless or kind of naive with the way that they expend their energy and the way that they kind of show up. So it can be like a really creative figure, but someone who maybe doesn't know how to channel that creativity, or someone who's just kind of learning how to use their vitality and their energy and their power. And again, when we're maybe a bit naive or inexperienced, that can sometimes lead to consequences. Alternatively, the Page of Wands in reverse can sometimes mean someone who's kind of lost their spark. And I am glancing over, and as I glance over, I see Death in reverse. And this can mean that we are hanging on to something that has to go, that we're having trouble letting go. I hear this message for some of you, and I just want to speak to it. I get the sense that some of you may have lost a child. I'm so sorry if that's been your experience. Can only imagine the depth of what you're going through right now if that's the case for you. Even if this was a while ago. Some of you may have lost a pet. You know, my pup is barking her head off during this reading, so that might be true for some of you. Okay, so getting back into it, I was saying with Death in the reverse that, yeah, some of you may have actually lost someone. This card rarely indicates actual death, but I feel like that is true for some of you. So if that's the case for you, and you're having to like still go to work and having to like, live, which we often do, have to like, continue to do these mundane things while we're grieving, which can be so disorienting and weird. Sometimes it can be helpful because it sort of distracts us, and that might be something that you tend to do, is like try to distract yourself from your emotions with sort of like just mundane reality. And I think that, you know, there's like however you need to grieve is for you. I hope that you're able to at some point access the feelings, because I do get the sense that for a lot of you, it's kind of like it's up to here. And it's really hard because you're having to just go about your day and almost pretend that that grief isn't there, pretend that that pain isn't there. So what I'm feeling, though, is that there's a need for you to move toward your communities and your friendships, because there is a lot of joy that's on the horizon. The Three of Cups is a card often of celebration, of communion with our loved ones, with our community, with our friends. And the Ten of Cups is one of the most, if not the most joyful cards in the tarot, representing kind of this deep emotional fulfillment, this deep and powerful sense of satisfaction with your life and with your loved ones and your community. And so I get the sense that as you allow yourself to grieve and as you take the silence and retreat that you need, you're sort of energetically preparing yourself for a new chapter that is really centered around connection. And to speak to those of you where the message around grief or loss doesn't quite apply, the other sort of situation that might be coming here, or that might be showing up here, is that the loss, it feels more internal, or it could be that you're reflecting on past losses in your life and suddenly in a position where you're like, this is coming up and I need to deal with this. I need to process this, whether that's with a friend, with your journal, with a therapist, doesn't really matter so much. But it feels like maybe Mercury retrograde for a lot of you dug up these sort of old pains and brought them to the surface, and you're now like, wow, this has been living within me for years even, and I am just kind of tapping into it for the first time, or maybe just again. And so allow yourself to have your time, allow yourself to be with whatever comes up, but know that you have these beautiful connections that are waiting for you. And I feel like for a lot of you, you've sort of been hermiting. So I had to pause again. But what I was saying is that there is a lot of beauty ahead for you. And I think you moving through this stuff is part of your path to get there. We kind of have to go through those highs and lows. We have to go through the valleys in order to kind of reach, you know, the view from the top and be able to gain the perspective that we were maybe missing when we were more in the trenches. Okay, I'm going to wrap up because this is just a noisy day, and I had to record outside today, and now there's like landscaping happening, and I'm frustrated. I'm feeling frustrated, and maybe you're feeling frustrated too, or maybe it's just me. But I want to end with sharing a rune today. So the rune that I pulled from my rune deck is Berkana, and this is the symbol up here at the top. You're going to want to flip it around. It can be cool to draw runes. They can really call in a lot of energetic support, protection even. So you might want to draw this or trace it. And I'll read to you from the guidebook. So Berkana, the meaning is birch and divine. Berkana celebrates birth and all new beginnings, and these could be a new relationship or work project, or simply a new approach to life. The symbol is the birch tree, which is known for its fertility and ability to renew. If you're going through difficult times, this card suggests that you have the strength to pull through, learn from experience, and grow, and that good times will return. Associated with maternal and caregiving energy, the card urges you to nurture any new beginnings or relationships because they're going to be quite positive for you. At the same time, this requires that you nurture and take care of yourself and make sure that your needs are met before caring for others. Family is a strong theme too, and it's possible that this card refers to a family member or a friend who will offer much needed support or care, or perhaps there's someone close to you in need of support or loving care. So a lot of the same themes coming up here. around needing to care for yourself, but that there is a really positive beginning ahead, especially after a time of struggle, and that there is support that's going to be available to you too. So just be open to receiving that and take care of yourself as best you can. I'm going to wrap up for today. I'll be back with another collective reading in a couple days. And if you're interested in a personal reading, you can find the link in the description for tarot, astrology, and Akashic Records readings. And you can connect with me via all the links in my link tree, also in the description. And if this was helpful and resonated, please do like it, comment, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. It really makes a big difference, and I appreciate it. All right. Thank you all. Sending you a lot of love. Bye.